All right, good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you this morning. My name is Janice Martellucci. I use she, her pronouns, and I work for Peace in Schools. I'm currently the managing director, and I've been a mindfulness teacher, working with Peace in Schools for about 6 years now. So I work with teens, and I also love working with adults. So thank you for being here today. If it's your first time joining us, the format's pretty simple. We will start with a check-in question. You can share your answer in the chat box. I'll lead about a 20-minute meditation, and then we'll do a little checkout. So we've been offering these. We started at some point in the middle of COVID, and we've just been offering them as an ongoing way to support the community. So thank you for being here. The question that I'd like to start out with today, again, you're welcome to write an answer in the chat box or not. There's no requirement. But it's just a simple one we often start with. And take a moment to receive the answer. So kind of open yourself up. See if you can listen for a moment before you answer it concretely. Just what are you present to this morning? Just taking a moment to listen. What are you present to? There's no right or wrong answer, but this is really an opportunity to be honest and to, perhaps for the first time this morning, or perhaps for the first time in a while, just really check in. And then you can share in the chat box if you like. So the gift, here, let me open up my chat so I can see these. The start of a new week, the gift of time with the people in my immediate surroundings, impermanence, a sense of restlessness, yes. Practicing with discomfort, listening to my body, connection. Beautiful. In this moment here, I'm present to gratitude to be with you and humidity. I'm calling in from Pennsylvania, and it's quite humid here. Trying to get grounded this first day of the week. Beautiful. So feel free to keep on sharing if you like. But we'll start to head towards our meditation. So the theme for today is resilient heart. I see a little one with us. Hi, little one. Speaking of resilient hearts. And oh yes, Julie, being here with my two children and hoping that this works. It'll be just as it was meant to be. I'm glad they're with us. So resilient heart. So before we began, I just wanted to say, one thing about resilience in general. And there's this, way that we can think about or talk about resilience, which often centers around this idea of like holding my head up high, or there can be like a certain amount of toughness, get knocked down and then clawing my way back up. And for me, it can almost bring up the image of a heart that's been like battered and bruised and healed over and scarred, but just is pushing forward, perhaps despite mistreatment. And so the resilience that I wanted to focus on for today is coming from a really different place, resilient heart. I had this question arise in my practice earlier this week, which is just, does the heart actually need protection? Does the heart need protecting, or is the heart the source of all protection? So this meditation today is really going to center around resilience and exploring a heart practice that frames the heart as that which cannot be broken. that which is always whole, regardless of circumstance. So I just wanted to start by framing that today. And as always, there's no wrong experience to have with any of this. You choose what you do with my offerings. Everything's an invitation. I'm just so glad to dive into this exploration with you today. So go ahead and choose whatever physical posture you'd like to be in today. And we're going to begin the process of settling in. And I really appreciate having some transition time. So I'm actually going to invite you to start this meditation with your eyes open and take a moment to take in your outer worlds, the environment that you're in, the circumstances around you, the objects that you can see with your eyes. So just kind of scanning your environment. And the practice here is to just simply take in information, see if you can just receive the sights rather than kind of start a dialogue about it. So just noticing whatever there is to notice. And then breathing, remembering to breathe as you do this. Just one more moment looking around. And breathing. And then we're going to really gradually begin to do that same process inside. So you can close your eyes if you wish, or if you prefer, you can just cast the gaze downwards. And we're going to kind of do the same process just inwards. So begin to just kind of glance around your inner landscape. What are the objects present in the inner experience? These could be thought forms, emotions, physical sensations. Again, just receiving information, taking it in, practicing being that compassionate witness. You don't need to push anything away, cling to anything. Just for a moment, letting everything be seen. Breathing, remembering to breathe. And let's go ahead and take 3 of the deepest and longest breaths we've taken all day so far. Take your time. And then the last little check-in and kind of acknowledgement, and this practice of settling before we really shift into the meditation, is just to acknowledge any other circumstances that you want to acknowledge in this moment that would feel honoring. And I'll guide us through a few examples, and you can follow along, or you can just really have this be your own. Just taking a moment to acknowledge the global landscape that we're in. So this might include COVID, the global pandemic, just acknowledging the Black Lives Matter movement, these things happening on a really large global scale that we're experiencing. Maybe there's something going on in your community that you want to acknowledge, a circumstance. Or maybe there's something going on in your family unit or your friend community circle. And then anything in the more individual level, maybe there's a physical thing, or it could be anything. Just taking a moment to really honor these circumstances, the reality of these events or happenings, before intentionally tuning in, letting them go just for the next 15 minutes or so. Knowing that we're not pushing them away or ignoring them, but we're letting them be so we can really tune in. You have permission to put them down for the next few minutes. And now tuning into the breath. We're going to use the breath as the anchor for today's meditation. Allow the breath to be natural. You don't need to control it in any way. So now we're going to give our full attention to the breath, getting really curious about the breath. And anytime you notice that the attention is wandering away from the breath, I invite you to just notice where it's gone. Maybe it's gone to one of these outer things, these circumstances. Without judgment, with kindness, just label it and then come back. You can start over as many times as you need. I'll be quiet for a couple minutes now and invite you to just drop into this practice. Just be with the breath, focusing on the breath. If the attention wanders off, bring it back. Just being here in the present moment with the breath for a few minutes in silence. If the mind is busy, that's okay. If there's an experience of restlessness, that's okay. Just continue to place the attention on the breath, to be with the breath, and allow those things to be there. But see if you can have the breath be at the forefront of your experience, really directing the attention there and letting whatever else is present to just be there. letting the breath be your guide, just following the rhythm, the waves, the movement of the breath. Now I invite you to place a hand over the heart. Continue to breathe. Directing the attention to this heart space. What comes up for you with the phrase resilient heart? Just notice. So now I'm going to invite you to visualize breathing in and out of the heart. And to very specifically visualize this heart space as a place of wholeness, as a source of protection, rather than something that needs protecting. Breathing in and out of the heart. Beginning to tune into that which is unbreakable. So visualizing the air coming into the heart as you inhale and exhaling out of the heart. In mindfulness practice, resilience is really describing being in touch with this place. If the resilience that we're experiencing feels fleeting or fragile or frail, then it's a resilience in the realm of the conditioned mind, the ego, the personality. It's actually those things that need protecting, right? The ego probably needs the most protection of all. So in this meditation, again, we're reframing, we're coming back to within us that is inherently whole, inherently unbreakable. The resilient heart. And this isn't about toughness. So as you're breathing in and out of the heart, You might ask yourself if there's any toughness coming up or any resistance, just to ask yourself the question, where can I soften? Where can I soften? The resilient heart is not something we have to strive for, get better at, or capture. It's an experience of remembering, coming back to, returning to that which is always inside of us. Give yourself permission to acknowledge that you are that resilient heart. Sink back into it. Allow yourself to fall backwards into this pool, this refuge, this source of protection. And let yourself linger here. It's not selfish. It's not a waste of time. Really rooting and grounding into this place will allow us to meet all of those external things in a different way, in a more sustainable way, in a more heart-centered way. So linger here. Meditation teacher Rupert Spira says, meditation is who we are, not what we do. So I'd like to borrow from that phrase and say that this resilient heart, resilience is who we are, not something that we do. So I'll be quiet again for just a few more minutes. Giving you a few more minutes to just linger in this remembrance of who you are. And if you're not feeling it, if you're feeling caught in your mind or story or narrative, that's okay. Whatever experience that you've had up until this point or that you're having right now is okay. Allow it to be here. The resilient heart can hold all. All is welcome. In a moment, I'm going to ring a bell. And when I do, just begin to slowly and gently open your eyes, raise your gaze. Come back into the space, maybe looking around again as we started this meditation. Coming back to the outer world. So, as always, please be so gentle with yourselves and trust that whatever experience you just had is valid and there's something for you to learn from it. Every time we meditate is different. So if you didn't have a calm or peaceful experience, that is okay. And that is part of the practice. And if you did have a different experience, that's whatever you had is okay. See if you can welcome it and just be with it. Yeah, be super gentle with yourselves. And the homework assignment or the practice invitation for your day is to see what it's like to really integrate this reframe of resilience. If you have some difficulty arise, or shall I say when difficulty arises, when you're navigating the outer circumstances of your life, whether it be your family or your circle, or just these global issues that we're dealing with, any moment there's toughness or force or a feeling of, needing to claw your way back up, I invite you to pause and see if you can just do a mini practice of this, touching into the resilience that is inherent and that doesn't come from that place of striving, that ego, that conditioned toughness that I often fall into. Meditation is not an escape from reality. I've always experienced it as something that resources me so I can meet reality in the way that my heart wants to. So go out there in whatever way you're going to go out there and just see how you might take this with you. I'd love to close the same way we started, just checking in with yourselves one more time. What are you present to in this moment? There's no right answer. You can share it in the chat box if you want to share it with the group, but more importantly, just giving yourself a chance to check in with yourself. What are you present to? Acceptance, color, a sense of ease and peace, more present in my body, gratitude for calmness, peaceful breath. Thank you. Sky. I'm present to trust, peace and space. Thank you all so much. Being okay as I am. Beautiful. So thank you all so much for joining me. A reminder that we're offering this every Monday, different teachers. You can see the themes in our newsletter on Instagram. And if you enjoyed this, know that on our website too, there's more in-depth courses. We have a Mindfulness Foundations class, which is a month-long journey of different anchors from our whole teaching team. So we're here for you. That's our hope and intention, is to support you in all the ways we can. So thank you, beautiful people. I'm so grateful for you all. And have a beautiful rest of your day. See you soon. Bye, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you.